Hi everyone and welcome back. I hope that you're doing really great today. I'm so happy to be coming on and making a very brief YouTube video today about Mercury retrograde in Gemini happening from May 29th, 2021 until June 22nd, 2021. Of course, the shadow of Mercury is going to be felt for around like 2 weeks on either side of this transit. So really until mid-July, we'll be feeling it. But the more potent true retrograde time, of course, is May 29th. Until June 22nd. So yes, like I said, a bit of a brief video today because I'm putting out so much content right now, as there have been a lot of sudden astrological transits that are pretty wild. You know, we've had a super flower blood moon eclipse happening on May 26th, preempting us into this Mercury retrograde. We also have had Saturn and Pluto go retrograde. Jupiter is in shadow, preparing to go retrograde itself. And yes, we are really suddenly activated in ways we may have never thought that we would be. So again, maybe a briefer video, but I definitely invite you to check out some of my more recent transit videos, which I will link below and in the top right-hand corner, to get an understanding of some of the more comprehensive themes coming up at this time. So focusing on Mercury retrograde in Gemini, let's get straight into that. So first I'm going to talk a little bit about Mercury retrogrades in general, and how they're kind of different right now than they might have been over the last few years. So of course, as we know, Mercury retrograde deals with a shift in communication, traveling, transportation, and also any small sort of things that you do during the day, you know, driving to work, going shopping, all these small little traveling, small short distance travel experiences are all ruled by Mercury. So whenever it goes retrograde, you can have these things become a very imminent portion of your energetic experience, meaning that there can be, you know, sudden things that come up with those smaller mundane things. Although I feel for many people that that's kind of welcome at this time, as we've just come out of a pretty harsh paradigm of energy with that eclipse and with the last 2 years of energy. That made things very concentrated and difficult, real, even scary for some people. So for a lot of us, I think that it's a welcome sort of distraction to have some more mundane things come up to be solved. And I do think that a lot of mundane things will come up to be solved with this transit. I think it's over this about 3.5 week period of time, I see that a lot of people are coming through with a brand new business plan, with a brand new structure, with a brand new lease on life for some people, and a brand new way of thinking about some of the things that have previously been hassles. So it's a really wonderful 3 weeks to coordinate your life, to calibrate it, to make things less of a hassle, to outsource things. You might wait until the retrograde is over to really take on new subscriptions or new contracts or new anything like that. It's not good during Mercury retrograde really to sign new contracts or to do that, although it's really not that big of a deal if you do either. This is Mercury retrograde in Gemini, which is its home sign. Therefore, there's a mitigated feeling of difficulty. And I always say, try to not let astrology rule your life as well. Like if you have something set up and you're, preparing to take on, a new contract and it's been set in stone for a while, go for it. But I always advise against impulsive long-term commitments that are made during Mercury retrograde. Okay. Though sometimes life also will set us up with things that we have to do during Mercury retrogrades as well. So don't worry about it if you're in that place. Just know that it's better to wait until after Mercury retrograde passes to really make a big alteration to your life. It just tends to become something that can be inconvenient or difficult with a lot of extra steps if you are too reliant on impulse. It is interesting to me that this Mercury retrograde is going to be happening in the same sign that we had this eclipse in. So I think that a lot of us are really going to be pondering deeply with this Mercury retrograde the impacts of the eclipse. So definitely look back to the time of around May 23rd to May 26th or even May 28th of 2021 and see what was coming up. What were you thinking a lot about? It's a wonderful period for journaling. It's a wonderful period for recording your thoughts. To really get a good idea of your health, at this time, because I think that a lot of things might be brewing under the surface for a lot of people, or like just cultivating certain destructive patterns that nobody else sees, that you're just thinking about. So it's really good to start to clean out your sort of your mental habits, self-deprecation, negative self-esteem habits, anything like that is very good to see, at least at this time. This particular Mercury retrograde in Gemini, getting more into this particular one instead of just Mercury retrogrades in general, it's going to ask some very hard-hitting questions, and it's going to let us in on some type of hard-hitting fact as well. There's some sort of presentation of facts, and I'm looking directly at the North Node, the Sun, and Mercury in Gemini. Okay, knowing that we've also had an eclipse happen on this axis, it says to me that we might see our purpose in totality over this period of May 29th to June 22nd. It says to me that we are presented with the facts around our purpose, how achievable it is, what it takes to achieve it. It's ambitious energy, okay? Anytime you involve the North Node and the Sun together, that's ambitious. So this period of time, even without the Mercury retrograde, as the Sun transits over the North Node in Gemini, we are connecting our vitality and our purpose to our destiny, okay? Or what we feel to be our destiny, like why I'm here on this planet is to do this. And then with Mercury having just recently passed over that too, and now retrograding back, going toward the Sun in the North Node, it's like knowing it consciously. It's not just embodying it. It's not just being in the space with it or being connected to it. It's knowing about it. It's being communicated about it. Even like it's crazy how high manifestation might be right now, where you've had a certain want, goal, or ambition, and now there's like a message about it, or now there's some type of synchronicity that comes up surrounding it. I would definitely keep an eye on synchronicities. Keep an eye on the correspondences around you, the communications around you, because they're going to really give you an idea of your purpose and your life force energy as well. What's kind of tricky about it, though, this particular Mercury retrograde, is that it's so cerebral. Gemini is such a cerebral sign. It's such a thought-oriented sign. And not always. I mean, there are aspects of Gemini that are also about quick movements, okay, being in many different places, zipping around. But the thoughts can do that as well. So flight of ideas are possible. Definitely any predisposition to overstimulation, hyperstimulation, overthinking things, detaching from physical energy channeling and trying to channel energy through the mind is something I would warn everyone about right now. Really try to get things out into the physical instead of just keeping it in the mind, just keeping it in the house. I think that there's a big push right now for us to channel things physically to some degree. Otherwise, you might, I don't know, like feel anxious or feel like you can't focus on things, like your thoughts are jumping around all over the place. However, there's something more powerful about it as well. There's nothing about this Mercury retrograde that should be feared. There's nothing about this Mercury retrograde that should be worried about too badly. Saturn and Pluto are really not involved or not angling it in any strong way. So I don't think that any harsh repercussions or consequences come as a result of this Mercury retrograde. But I do feel that it just makes you put two and two together. I think that there's it's like kind of a blunt, like, this is what you get. Like, this is what this is. Like, there's not going to be much room for illusion, which is contradictory in a way. We've got Jupiter having just gone into Pisces, which does indicate some amount of rose-colored glasses or different thoughts about what we're going through that are maybe not actually what it is, like sort of two-facedness about goals or aspirations. I think that this particular Mercury retrograde is going to offset that, and it's going to be like this is the result. It's kind of very mathematical in a way. And that's what I love about math, is they're like it just, this is the answer. Like, this is the simplified version. This is the equation. And it's not really something that can be abstractly argued to be different things. So there's a mathematical result coming with this Mercury retrograde in Gemini. There's a formula at play. It's a great transit to look back at your formula and see if your business model, your formula, your diet formula, your all that type of stuff is very, very good to look back on. What a great Mercury retrograde to mentally get behind a diet or exercise regime or a health regime, because you won't be able to hide from it. Like, you won't be able to question it. Like, I think that people will really have great luck with health during this Mercury retrograde. Health of anything, not just health of the body, but really a comprehensive health, because it just is so honest. This energy is very clear if you would like for it to be clear. And basically, the most potent aspect of this transit is going to basically just be results. There is a result with it. Something is not just an input at this point. Something is not just, okay, I'm putting this out to the universe. I'm making my intention clear. I'm, doing this action. Now you have the giving back process. Okay, I've put the intention out, or I've done this action, or I've made these choices over an amount of few years, and now there's a result. Like, through doing this exercise, my body is now where I want it to be, or through eating this way, I've seen kind of maybe a result that I don't think is healthy. Or through making these choices, I now see that this is the result. Now we're in result territory. And I think it's going to start. And the cool thing about this being like in Gemini is that it's kind of a mental cue, or it's kind of, I would say that within the mental health, it lies the answer to everything. Like, the scale of like how mentally healthy we're feeling. Are we feeling like we're honoring ourselves? Are we feeling like we're respecting our own code of ethics? Are we feeling like we're in alignment with our own moral compass? Again, this is the Gemini-Sagittarius axis, so there's something about morals and philosophies and ethics and things like that that really will give a result at this time. And with these results, I think that a lot of people are then deciding whether to continue on in the same fashion or to adjust. Okay. So just keep it in mind over this period of May 29th to June 22nd that the data is basically coming back, or the results of your efforts are now going to be accounted for or registered in some way. There's a big sort of registration or roster, ledger of results. So to me, it kind of looks like, in the same way that a tax return really categorizes the role that money is playing in your life, it will be the same with energy at this time. There will be some type of very solid roster really demonstrating to us the categorization of our energy expenditures. It can go in the direction of money, but it's also just very much like proof of our output, okay? And I think that as we go through it, as we're experiencing this, we're like, wow, okay, I have got to... So for some people are going to be like making huge changes in the way that they portray, or huge changes in the way that they energize or put out intentions. And then others are going to be like rewarded as well. Basically, it's super karmic. It's like the result. It's a really, really good sign from May 29th to June 22nd where you stand karmically. Because it's not really that arbitrary. It's not really that abstract. Like, it's going to be very clear. Like, basically, if like good things are happening to you, May 29th to June 22nd, it's a really good sign that you're doing something right. If you're having a lot of strange inconveniences or a lot of weird, not just weird, but like what you might consider to be bad things happening to you, it's a sign that maybe there's adjustments or alterations needed. Basically, you're going to get a very clear roster in this period of time through mental cues and through communication of like where you stand in a very wholesome way, mainly in relation to like what you feel that you're meant to do, or like what your purpose feels that it is. So this doesn't just feel like a balance of like good and bad. It feels like a scale of purposeful or not purposeful when it comes to our actions and our daily outputs. So really be on the lookout for signs and symbols of either easy or difficult experiences to tune you up and to get you clearer. And I think that everybody might get a little bit of both, okay? Because again, this is a human experience. Like nobody here is perfect. Nobody here is all good or all bad. So it's a scale, it's a sliding scale, it's factorial, it's variable. And depending on what comes through at this time, you can get a very good idea. And I think that it works very well in tandem with the other transits this year. So by like the end of June and moving into July, there needs to be a conclusion to a purging phase. There needs to be a conclusion to sort of like inconsequential living, or like not being kind to your body just to feel a sense of freedom. That really has to end with this transit, and that should have ended with the eclipse cycle at the end of May. And then this time itself serves as a sort of result or roster of where you stand. And then with that roster, you can move forward and really do some decision making or adjustments if it's needed. So ultimately, I think most of you here know the general messages with Mercury retrograde. This one is really not severe when it comes to inconveniences, but it's just very much giving us a sense of where we stand. Okay. So keep on the lookout, May 29th to June 22nd. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. This channel's on Patreon. You can check the description box below if you'd like weekly forecasts and other bonus content. Also, do check out the channel membership. You can hit the join button to the left of the subscribe button if you want to support the channel that way. And I also have a merch line as well. It's right beneath the video. There's a merch bar and everything. It's a great quality stuff. Everyone who has gotten it has really liked it. I wear this merch all the time. I love the tank tops for like running in and stuff. I'm a pretty big runner myself, so I always like to have some good tank tops around. But check out the merch below. It's a great way to support the channel and to get some really good quality merch. So thank you so much, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the Mercury retrograde. We will be talking soon. Have a great time of it. Much love. Bye.